Now, going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have a school teacher's classroom going viral for having all the presidents except Donald Trump proudly displayed in their classroom. I mean, this is the only reason 989,455,703 to homeschool your kid. Because, again, there's always going to be bias. I mean, everyone's human, but can't but notice a lot of, not all of them, but many of these public school teachers have a bias pretty much to hate Trump and Republicans in general, and also push sexual ideology and other creepy things onto kids and grooming them. Yeah, it's one of those things where I haven't had the privilege in my life to have a family, but I can't but think if I had that privilege and I had a child, I would work twice or three times as hard or whatever it takes just to have the make it financially work in order to again have the wife stay at home to teach the kids because yeah these schools aren't again 32-year low ACT scores and the teachers union say they deserve more money. That still boggles my mind in terms of the ineptitudes of the Department of Justice and the public schools teachers. But I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, which she says, quote, I'm sure the teacher in this classroom is giving completely unbiased lessons to the students. Another ad for homeschooling. There you can see, all the other presidents, they actually, oh, it's a double insult. So not only do they have all the presidents, properly oriented in terms of, they're not, upside down. So they flipped Donald Trump's picture upside down, and they put a clown sticker over his face completely so you can't even make it out. I'm actually surprised they didn't carve out the name Donald Trump or replace it with Sharpie so you couldn't even see the name. Which, yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, what's the compelling reason to send kids to public school these days? I mean, ugh. Yeah, there's a reason that teacher unions do not want school choice because I think most people, if they had a choice, they wouldn't decide to have their kids go public school. And that's what pretty viral. Got 1.8 million views as well as 96,000 likes. Now, one of the top comments comes from Chuck Costello saying, quote, that's pretty terrible. They shouldn't politicalize children like this. Getting 1.7 thousand likes, which, yeah, pretty mentally vacuous, most public schools these days. I remember even me growing up in the Midwest, I thought it was a suburb of Chicago. So, yeah, even they were brainwashing kids. I remember one teacher, made radical leftist, she brainwashed most of the class to say that the end justifies the means, which is one of the most horrifying philosophies in history, and it's never turned out well because it'll justify literally everything. Now, Gunther Eagleman says, quote, no teacher should inject their politics in the classroom. It should be grounds for immediate dismissal, getting 8.1 thousand likes. Amen to that. Yeah, and again, I had some good, we all have some good teachers, a lot of bad teachers growing up. I mean, back in the day, the teachers dressed very conservatively. We didn't know anything about their, like, if you had a choice between, like, being overly involved in teachers, knowing what the hell they do, teachers out of school, and not knowing anything at all, I would choose to not know anything at all. Because, again, the teachers, what they share nowadays is quite horrifying. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, you almost thought your teachers just, like, just some of the, like, after class ends, they just sat in their chair and they waited for you the next day. Like, you didn't, there's a mystery. And it's just, that's how it was. Now, you also have Craig Chamberlain saying, quote, public schools are ideologically captured by leftists and unions. There's no reason to believe they will raise your kids to love this country or the Constitution, getting 701 likes, which, yeah, they don't teach those anymore either. Yeah, yeah, it's fascinating. You'll see all these pictures of public schools, and in the classroom, there'll be every flag except America's flag. Paul Zupa says the teacher should be fired, getting 888 likes. Cash Loren says any teacher who brings their politics into the classroom should be removed immediately, getting 87 likes. Is there any, let's see here, any contrarian statements? So by name of David Sullivan says, quote, David Sullivan / prosecute Fauci, good pronouns, says history is hard for someone who wants to indoctrinate children. It says repost if you think teachers who try to indoctrinate children with political beliefs should be terminated from their jobs. In 1.8 thousand likes. Bridget Gabriel says the teacher should be fired, getting 7.7 thousand likes. Hello and Kelly Joe says defunded the Department of Education and banned teachers unions, getting 3.5 thousand likes. Let's see. Which, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, and the fact that public teacher unions could just go on strike and your kids get no education at all, which, now that I think about it, I mean, that's probably the most toothless threat ever. Like, if someone were to say, oh, yeah, the public school, they're going to go on strike, they won't teach your kids. Like, all right, great. Well, I mean, with what they're pushing these days, I don't think that's a bad thing. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Case in point. So, Logic and Facts, pretty appropriate name for the profile, says our public schools have become woke indoctrination centers. And here you can see how old are these kids? Maybe 5, 6 years old, and they're all waving the can't keep track because there's so many variations, but it's the Pride Progress flag with a trans logo too. There's so many versions. I have a conspiracy theory that it's all just big flag. So every time there's a new flag, you gotta buy more flags. How much money have they been making the past couple years? They gotta be driving like Rolls Royces by now, right? All that big flag. I'm only partially kidding. There's a company out there making bank on those flags, which good for them. Easy money. They got 11 likes. Yeah, so can't help but wonder. Well, one of the few good things to happen since the pandemic was homeschool, or with the Zoom class instances. Parents actually got to see what the teachers are pushing, and they horrified them so much the increase of the rate of homeschooling quite significantly. But I wonder, culturally speaking, if the pendulum will ever really swing back, and will people ever think, probably best to homeschool my kid, or maybe private school? And let me know in the comments. Do you think one is vastly superior than the other? And do you think we'll ever actually repeal the Department of Education in the United States, or get politics out of the classroom completely? I'm a little skeptical, but let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I'd really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.